in here, or do I need to look somewhere else?
No, just look. We're live. We're live. Hey, Dreamcatchers. Al, you see I'm repping y'all today. We had a little bit of technical difficulties, but we figured it out. I'm super excited. My girl Natif is on the line. This is my original financial road dog.
The first.
For real.
Yes.
You guys honestly are in for like a super duper treat. Because the Literature Challenge, this is our 5th edition. This is the 2nd time that Tifa has lent her expertise. So this is the home buying edition. She lent her expertise to the credit edition, and she killed. Honestly, that's my favorite challenge, Tifa. I don't know if you know.
Really?
You killed it, honestly.
I thought this would be.
Yes. Well,
the homeowners this time.
Yeah, no, this one is dope. I guess that one's my favorite one because I learned some things and I was like, word? So I'm super excited because, like I said, Nativa is she is the lead on this Literature Challenge Home Buying Edition, the 5th one. I tapped into her not only just for her credit knowledge, but Nativa, tell us a little bit about yourself as it relates to home ownership and home buying.
Yeah, so I am from Illinois. It's something that we both say yes, so we have to both work on it. But I'm from Illinois, and I actually started off as a realtor in Illinois, and I worked in the Austin area. From those of you who are from Chicago, so Oak Park, Austin, really all the way to the Auburn Gresham, which is the south side of Chicago. And the incomes in that community were anywhere from lower middle to middle income, so it really varied. Is the connection okay? I see you looking worried.
No, yeah, you're right. I just see people say they can't. Y'all can hear, right? Yeah, okay, good. They got it.
You can hear me? Okay, perfect. And so one of the things that I love to do is to kind of work with the buyer before we go in front of a loan officer to prepare them, because when your income is a concern, the last thing you want to hear is a denial, right? It just like crushes you. It's like, oh my God, I'll be waiting forever. And so I like to go through preparing them for home ownership before we even sat in front of a loan officer. So that's how this challenge came about. So this was conceived in our real estate offices when we were doing home buying workshops. I wanted to do it different than anyone had done before. I brought in loan officers. I learned underwriting guidelines. I knew where to find my own underwriting guidelines, and I'm sharing that with you guys as well. And how to fix your credit, how not to stick with the minimums of, oh, you only have to do 580 or 620. No, because the interest rates are ridiculous, and how just dropping a few points beneath a 20-point basis. So for example, I always give the example of how my husband and I was looking, and how they were like, oh, we want you to pay off something that'll happen to you guys. And I was like, oh, I should have caught that. So just paying that one thing off took him to like I think it was like 17, but out of the 720s range. And it cost us like a 1/8%, which isn't a lot, but I mean, yeah, it's a lot. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's a lot. So just walking you guys through that information. I mean, that started all from being an Illinois realtor back in 2004. And then naturally that led into the financial industry and repairing credit and teaching people how to budget and all of that good stuff. Just teaching people how to claim the keys, as I say, to their new home with ease. So that's how that started. And
so let's talk about how the challenge is going to go down, right? So I know the first week is all about home buying knowledge, right? That's what kind of like the theme. So for those of you who've never done a Literature Challenge before, the way it works is that we really try to break down the weeks by specific kind of like goals and themes, right? And so the first week we were like, knowledge is critical. You can't do better if you don't know better. And so I told Nativa, and we have a writer, Taylor, that works with us. I really wanted to focus on home buying knowledge. So what does that really like entail? Because I know the first day is like goals, which is tomorrow, which is awesome, right?
Absolutely. And so you start off every challenge with goals. And that's how we started off too, because a home buying goals isn't just, I want to buy a home, but really diving deep into why you want to buy a home. And I always give the example of when I was talking with someone who's actually from Nigeria, and she wanted to go back. This was some years back, and she would like go back, and she had a school out there, and she was doing some amazing things, and all of her income was going there. And I was like, well, if you plan on going back, why are we buying a home here? So it's really just digging deep into seeing if right now is the time for you to start looking into home ownership, thinking about the type of lifestyle you have and what type of home would work for you. Then we dive into like some different purchasing methods, because you and I have both purchased in cash before. I've also now purchased with a loan. This is my third loan purchase, but everything else has been cash. Really thinking into like what your, I mean, we go over everything. We go over the 5 C's of lending. So it's really just focused on the home buying basics. And that's one of the reasons why I love week 1, because it's really just about giving you good foundational knowledge in the Tiffany, the Budgetnista way, which is down into bite-sized pieces. So it's going to be really dope.
Yes, and that's critical, because so if you, like I said, if you've never taken a challenge before, guys, it is step-by-step guidance. Day 1 is home buying goals. Day 2 is purchasing methods. Day 3 is your capacity. Day 4, qualifying income. Day 5, debt to income. Day 6, we always have on the 6th day of the challenge, we always have like a review, reflex, relax day. And then day 7, some weekly inspiration. So it's like 5 days of work, 2 days of kind of like relaxation, reflecting, and relaxing. So let's talk about week 2. Week 2, we're going over home loan requirements. So what are some things they can look forward to?
So in week 2, home loan requirements, we're going into credit. We're going to debt to income ratio. We're going over loan types. So we're just going over some of the things that lenders will look for, and really giving you a clear perception of what loan type might fit you best. So in week 1, you kind of get the basic knowledge. In week 2, you're gathering your information with the task and saying, okay, well, this is kind of what my home buying outline of to-do should look like. Now let me start looking at different loan types to see which one would match me, like which one would I fit into. For example, if you're someone who had a foreclosure a few years back, let's say 3 to 4 years back, and you automatically know that conventional wouldn't work for you based on some of the things that I'm going to share with you. So just being able to pinpoint which loan type will work best for your financial profile or outline would allow you to be able to investigate that loan type more. And when you get in front of a loan officer, you're not sitting there, I heard about this conventional loan. And you already know that's not in your ballpark right now. That allows you to center in and focus and know what to expect. So when you get in front of a loan officer, you're more prepared. And most importantly, you're more educated about the process. One of the reasons why I started the Home Buying Challenge is not just because I wanted to prepare the buyer, but I also did not want them to be taken advantage of by some of the lending institutions out there. In my area, we had some big ones, including US Bank, who were, well, basically, we're taking advantage of minority home buyers, higher interest rates, lowering the amount that they were qualified for. And the number one reason that occurred is because so many buyers, their first step was to sit down in front of a loan officer to see where they stood at. And not every loan officer, unfortunately, is going to have your best interest. And you're around them to have your best interest. You want to,
you know, it's so funny because when I bought my first home when I was 25, 26, and I had taken a first-time home buyers class. So this is for y'all, right? Basically, and I remember. Based upon that's the first time I really made like a budget for myself. And I remember based upon my budget, I think it was like the most I could afford was like a house that was $360,000 based upon what I could afford monthly. When I tell you those people tried so hard to get me in the house for I think so I said 260. That's what I could afford based upon my budget. They tried to get me in the house for 320 so bad. They were like, well, according to our numbers. And I said, well, are you gonna pay my bills? I remember being so shocked that they were trying so hard to push me into something that I'm looking at the numbers. I'm like, well, the most I can afford, I think with the interest rate, what it was going to be for me and my mortgage, the most I could afford was like $1,700 or $1,800 a month, right? And so with the current at 260, my mortgage was going to be $616, and I said, okay, I'm still under the range of what I could afford. And at that 320, it was going to be over $2,000 or something to that effect. And I was like, I can't, I know what I can afford monthly. And I just remember at 25, 26 being really surprised that these, and not that I wasn't an adult at 25, but that these grown folks were really trying to push me into something I couldn't afford. And now we realize that that's what led to the bubble. That's why 2009, 2010 happened when we had the recession, is because people making $15 an hour in a home.
Exactly.
$1,000
home.
Yes. And so, and not everybody knowing, because like I said, I just happened to be really fortunate, and I took this home buying class, and it were really strict about This is your budget. This is what you can afford. This is what you bring to the table. No matter, you don't want someone to tell you what you can afford. Exactly. You should be telling the lender. So I'm just going to break down for you guys what week 2 is all about. Week 2, day 8 is your character. Day 9, your capital. Day 10, popular home loans. Day 11, ways to save. Day 12, special housing programs. Day 13, again, reflect, review, relax. And day 14, weekly inspiration. So every day, you know, we are working. It's like a step-by-step guide, hand-holding with Nativa's expertise. So let's talk about week 3. This is when we dive deep into the home loan process. What can they expect?
So the home loan process is going to go into what you need to gather in order to start getting prepped. And you're going to have some fun assignments there. I believe you have some spreadsheets or like a spreadsheet, right? Excel spreadsheet at that time. Yeah. We're going to get into some different down payment assistance types and where to search those at. So this is where you really start actually as an interactive assignment too, where you guys can kind of work together and do some fun assignments. So this is key because it's going to allow you to kind of create a home goal worksheet. And this is kind of like your home buyer's action plan, because some of you might find that you're like, oh, okay, I'm ready right now. And some of you are like, oh, well, let me get this, and this together. And then I'm going to be even more on point. You want to be as prepared and have your finances together as much as possible, because when you sit in front of a loan officer, you want to pass something called an automated desktop underwriting approval. It's basically an automated underwriting approval. So that means you don't have to have a physical person going through every fine-tooth thing. You want to let the system say everything is legit. Now all they have to do is give you their financials. Right now, you don't even have to give them your paycheck stubs because there's a system that most of our employees report to. So you're talking like bank statements and, you know, proof that you've been paying rent on time, and your process is going to be super duper 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 smooth. The moment you get a person looking over your stuff and critiquing and answering everything, that's the moment they're like, anything could happen. And so we want to prepare you guys to get that desktop underwriting, that automated underwriting approval. And that's what week 3 is going to tell you how to do that and how to craft that.
Okay. Yes, it is honestly. So we're going to take some questions in a minute. Okay. But I just want you guys to understand that we have perfected the Live Richer Challenge, in that it's 3 weeks. So the first challenge was 5 weeks, but all of them after that have been 3 weeks, 22 days with literally step-by-step guidance. And the way the challenge works is that every day you get an email in your inbox, and it says, well, you know, today's task is XYZ, a link to the task. Everything you need to complete the task is inside that day's. It's a blog post. Inside that blog post, if it's a video that's needed, it's there. If it's a template that's needed, it's there. All the information that you're going to need is there. And we walk you through step by step. And then we've got the Facebook group, Dreamcatchers, right? Available on shoplivericher.com. Vanna Black, right? And then we've got the Facebook group. And in the Facebook group, you can ask even more questions. It's not just the Facebook group. It's not just about home buying, but it's about everything. But if you have a home buying question, that's why we started the Facebook community. Nativa was my very first co-admin. I was in there by myself years ago. And she was like, you're drowning, girl. You need help. I didn't even know her. I was like, I do need help. And so she's been riding with me ever since. And honestly, Nativa, like, if I was like, I know enough about credit, I know enough about homeowner, but if I'm not a credit or a home buying expert by any stretch of the imagination, but if I was one, I would be Nativa. She is my spirit animal, for real. Like, honestly, because here's the thing: if you know me and you follow the Budgetnista, you know I like to teach from a place of kindness, where I like to teach from a place of people first. I like to give from a place of just like really wanting to see you do better, and that is Nativa. That's why if you see, I haven't partnered with anyone else to do any of the other challenges, because to me, energy is important, and Nativa brings that times 10. So we are really fortunate indeed, because she's busy. Okay, we are really fortunate. We are fortunate indeed to work with Nativa on this. So Nativa, one, if someone did want to work with you, and then we're going to get into some questions. If someone did want to work with you, you know, where would they go?
You will go for this particular challenge to LRC, Live Richer Challenge, home.mnhfinancialservices.com. LRC, home.mnhfinancialservices.com. So we put our most popular services on there. Make sure you let me know that you are a dream catcher, and therefore you can get your certified Budgetnista discount or special pricing on And the main thing I really want you guys to just make some time, carve out time, whether it's going to be in the morning, the afternoon, or in the evening, to complete each task. And that's going to require some effort. So you should have already been sent, if I'm not mistaken, a schedule.
Yes.
Yes, I believe you get them upon signing up. So tonight, if you can put it in your calendar, what time you're going to review each challenge and kind of carve out, because it doesn't take much to read it, but I really want you guys to do the assignment. Because if you're serious about home ownership and you want it to be as smooth as process as possible, I mean, Tiffany and I team worked very, we collaborated. We made sure that it was easy to understand. We made sure it was broken down and super simple. We made sure that the assignments were relevant to what's going on in the home buying industry or mortgage industry right now. We made sure you knew how to choose your home team, your real estate, real estate person, what they do, your loan officer, and what they do and what their job is, your appraisal. We went through all of that. And so now it's just about giving the information, because you gave them a little manual, right? A little PDF.
You have a little starter kit. You have your calendar.
I was like, what is it called? It's not a downloadable. Okay. So
the starter kit.
It has your PDF. So just make sure you put your notes on there. And when you get the spreadsheet, the home goals and all of that good stuff that Tiffany has prepared for you, just make sure that you're going through and really completing the assignments. And I'm telling you, you're going to be like, anybody that has taken a home buying class with me has said, my loan officer said I was so prepared and I was a breeze to work with. And, you know, it was just such a wonderful experience. Like the only hardest part was determining what house I wanted. So that's the only thing you want to be worried about.
And what's the link again on the tip?
LRC home.
Okay, home.
.mnhfinancialservices.com.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys the link in the comments because I see some people are asking about it. So
okay,
let me get it for you. Oh no, it says it's not LRC home. Are you sure? We're gonna have to look. .mnhfinancialservices.com. That one's not up. Like, so we're gonna get you. Don't worry. The good thing is every day during the challenge, the Tiva, her link is there every single day. So, you know, if it's not up right now, for those of you watching live, like as soon as you go tomorrow to start, you'll be able to see. Yeah, it'll be there. So we'll get
probably got it hidden because it's a special. So they're probably like, listen, you're not even about to get that. My team probably like, you're not.
Okay. So yeah, we'll get that.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, it will. Okay. So we're gonna take some questions. All right.
All right.
Okay. So, really quickly, some of you are saying you didn't get confirmation email. You didn't get the starter kit. If there's something you have not received, like especially an email, right? So then I want you to go to Budgetnista Tech, TECH, like technology, budgetnistatech.com, and fill that out. Our tech support is on it, okay? And so yeah, so if you didn't get a confirmation email, because in the confirmation email was the starter kit with the calendar, with all of the links and things that you're gonna need. So if you didn't get that, go to budgetnistatech.com and our tech support will help you out with that. Okay, because if you're not getting emails, then you're not doing the challenge,
right?
You know, so check your spam folder. That's critical. So literally type in Budgetnista into your spam folder and see if any of those confirmation emails or registration emails are there, because sometimes that's where they are, because we're delivering the challenge to you via email. So if you're not getting emails, which I don't know how you're not getting emails, because you're here and I sent this via email, you know? So, but I'm just hoping, like, if you're not getting emails, definitely check your spam folder. All right, so let's take some questions. So Nativa, I'm seeing this a lot. How do you feel about NACA?
I actually love NACA depending on who your person is. The main things that you hear about NACA is a lot of drop balls, lack of communication, but you cannot beat the intense budgeting that they put you through. You cannot beat the practice that they put you through of saving for a mortgage, especially if there's something called shock value. So that's like if your rent is like $700, but you want a mortgage of like $1,300. So they have you start paying as if you're already paying $1,300, which is absolutely phenomenal. The ability to get, I already said interest rate because it's just so bomb, but not really being credit score driven, but really honing in good money management skills. That is so important. I'll never forget in Illinois, this is a little back in the day. I told you how long I've been a realtor. I was a baby, but they had the next door program with HUD. It was police officers and teachers, and they would get 50% off of the houses, 50% off. And a lot of the people who had gotten in those 50% off programs actually lost their homes due to their poor money management skills. So, I mean, that's one of the things that I just love about NACA. Now, like I said, you have to have the right person who's, I know a team that's really good. I refer all of my people to her. And I mean, she's just been phenomenal. So if I was going to tell you to go NACA, I would tell you to get started and then switch over to her. But I don't really know the inner workings of all of that. But she's that good. She's that good. She's really, really, really good. But it's not a bad program at all. I think it's great if you get the right team to work with you.
Okay. And Tracy of New York said, what time will we receive an email? You get the emails at 6 a.m. in the morning. I believe if you're doing it live, it's 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you happen to be watching this later, like, a year from now taking this, I think it's 6 a.m. like whatever time that you're in. Because we ultimately do the challenges live and then we automate them right after the live version is finished. So 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time if you're doing it live, and if you're doing kind of like it later on, meaning basically anytime past January 2019, it'll be automated, and then it's 6 a.m. your time. So I want to get you early in the morning because some of you, get up early. You want to get to doing whatever your task is for the day and then get to work. Okay. Let's see. So what about people who want to build their homes?
Every lending program has a building or construction loan. So it depends on if you're buying land first and then building, or if you're going into a subdivision and you're kind of using a lender to work with something that's going to be already built and planned and all of that good stuff. So there is going to be a difference. If you're going to buy land and get new construction, there's going to be a difference in down payment, and there's going to be a difference in the requirements of you as far as your credit and all of that good stuff. You can get the same lending types that you would get for a regular already pre-built home for a subdivision than you would if you, here's some land, with a water view, and now I want to buy a property. No, you're going to put down a nice little chunk of change for that one. Okay. So, and you're going to need, your credit score is going to have to be on point. You're going to learn about assets and reserves. That's going to have to be on point. So just keep that in mind as you prepare to, decide which one you're going to do. Okay.
And so what someone asked me, Marsha says, what are your thoughts on VA loans?
I love me some VA loans. I mean, 100%. Are you kidding me?
Yes. So explain what it means.
So VA loan is for veterans only. And, there's some other guidelines for their families, but it's an opportunity to purchase using the Veteran Affairs government program. And it's 100%. I mean, you have something called a funding fee, and we're going to talk about that, I believe, the second week. And it's just an overall great program. I leave the link for you to get more information. They have some great worksheets on the VA website. I mean, they walk you through so much educational information just on their website. But you want to make sure that you get with a lender that is well knowledged in VA loans. I've had some of my clients before go to a company that's like more familiar with FHA, and it's been a disaster because they are different. So you want to go with someone who's written on a regular basis VA loans, abides by all of the rules and regulations, and it should be a fairly easy process for you. The only thing I would say be mindful of is that each lender who uses VA, they have different requirements on credit scoring. So you want to make sure you follow my guidelines on searching around for a loan officer as you make your way through the challenge, because one lender may have guidelines all the way up here when another one might be like right here, another one might be down there. So you kind of want to shop around and find the right lender for you that matches your particular credit profile. But it's a bomb. It is. Like, I used to be like, why didn't I think about going to maybe that time?
What about, so Justina asked a good question. Must you build your credit to buy a house?
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. So I'll be honest with you. There are a few lenders out there who abide by FHA's guidelines that you can have a 550 credit score as long as you have 10% down. When I tell you that the interest rate on that bad boy is ridiculous, you're thinking 580 to 640. The interest rate is ridiculous. A lot of people are saying, I'll refinance. But if you've ever done real estate in a recession and you saw the drastic change that seemed to have happened overnight, they are already projecting that another recession is coming up. Yep. They can't even gauge when it's going to be. You want to go in right, make sure it's affordable, make sure your credit is on point, because you may not have a chance to refinance.
Yep.
Well, start thinking about that like right now.
Yeah, right. No, I agree. So someone asked, are you a fan? Are you a fan of FHA?
Yes, I am. And let me tell you why.
No, this is good. That's what we hear.
Number one, I like the fact that it gives people an opportunity to get into a home faster. As I mentioned, we're going to talk about, like, based on certain events, bankruptcy, foreclosure, et cetera, when you can buy. based on, they call them waiting periods. So that's the time that you have to wait to be eligible to buy another home again. So I'll use myself as an example. We gave our home back, and we had to wait 3 years. Even if it was a voluntary foreclosure, a foreclosure is a foreclosure. Even if it's a short sale, you gave the property back. And so unless there's like special conditions when nobody really, in my opinion, ever hardly qualifies for it, you have to wait 3 years with FHA.
Yeah.
With conventional, you got to wait 7. That's a long time to wait to buy a house again. And so it just gives you an opportunity to be able to purchase faster. Even with bankruptcy, you can purchase again after 2 years. And I'm not going to give too much of this challenge, but that's just one of the reasons why I love FHA. And, you know, more people qualify for that 3.5% down payment. You're able to get a co-borrower. I mean, there's just so many different things that you can do. I'm not giving away the class, so I'm going to stop right here.
You see why I partnered with the Killer? Oh, my. So Kanisha wants to know, are there special options for teachers?
You know, it depends on where you live. There are some grants out there. You're going to have to really search. But where I was, it used to be like Teacher Next Door program, as I mentioned before. As long as you bought a HUD home. And what's great about HUD is that you only have to put like $100 as a down payment. So it was $100 down payment. And then you qualify to fix up the property up to a certain amount. So, and you got 50% off of the HUD property. So let's say you found a HUD property, and right now they're not even in bad shape. Like when I was buying houses for cash, these was some bad shape properties. Right now, let's say you got a $120,000 home, you can get it for $60,000, and you can, you know, add on another $20,000, $25,000 to fix it up the way you want to, as long as you're not like rebuilding up a whole house. And you only put $100 down. Like that's epic. So I would look to see if your program or your area has a Teacher Next Door program, and then I will also look up. And it's just a simple Google search, home buying grants for teachers or something like that. But we do leave you some links in the academy for you to fine tune. But the most popular one is a Teacher Next Door program.
Yes, I definitely. It's like police officer next door, teacher next door. But not everyone, like you said, now you kind of have, it's like almost like state by state, town by town, depending on what they're trying to do. Let's see. Any information on buying out a reverse mortgage? My mom had one and I'd like to pay it off.
I would pay it off. You can't pay it off with another loan. Like you would have to refinance your home to pay it off or something like that. So are you saying you're going to buy her house, or are you saying you're going to get a home loan to pay off of her reverse mortgage? So, I mean, basically, I would definitely pay it off. I believe that a lot of times they take advantage of seniors and getting them into these loans. The chances of them paying it off before like something drastic happens are usually slim, at least based on my personal experience. So I don't want to say something with you, but this is based on my personal experience. So I'm not a super duper big fan of them, but I would try to help her pay it off as soon as possible, because debt is stressful for anybody. And the last thing you want it to do is be stressful on your loved one, your parent. So. No,
for sure. So you guys are asking so many good questions. I'm like, I can't keep up. So she said she's wanting to pay it off. Okay. Let me see. It was a really cool, so a lot of student loan questions. Okay. I remember when I was purchasing my first house, that I had no debt. I didn't have, well, I won't say I had no debt, but I didn't have credit card debt. But I had student loan debt. And I remember them being like, so like, ooh, because it wasn't a little bit of money. I think it was like $40,000 or something like that. So how does student loan debt play into your ability to purchase a home?
Well, we're going to talk a lot about debt to income ratios, and your student loans play into that. Okay. And I'm not going to go into too much because I want you to, because we broke it down really well in the class, but just think of the fact that they're going to take 1% of whatever you owe. And there are conditions to that. I know there was a great live with Sonia, the student loan doctor.
Yes.
But that's inside Tiffany's Academy, so it's not like we're going to get it. But that's, you know, a little pitch into that, but she did a great live. But essentially, conventional loan has now done a great program now. They're the only ones that will allow you to use your income-based repayment amount, as well as maybe what else? Income-based graduated payment amount. So basically, whatever amount is reporting, they'll take that and factor it into your debt to income ratios. Whereas all of the other ones will either take 1%, or you would have to make some payments over a consistent period of time that snack up, or you would have to have some fund, like we have to have a letter from Navient that said what our amount would be, because they were trying to put 1% on there, and I was like,
Yeah, you're like, no, let me get my letter. Yeah.
So then we were like, well, this is how much we pay. This is how consistent it has been. This is going to amortize the loan. That basically means it's going to stay the same until the loan is paid off. And then they took that amount. But we had to come with that. Had I not had that knowledge, now that you have it, now you know what to do.
So a lot of you guys are asking, well, one, it's not a tech email address. It's a tech website. So if you go to budgetnistatech.com, if you're having tech issues, you're not getting the emails, you're like, I didn't get the starter kit. If you got the registration email saying, hey, one last thing you have to do for registration, the starter kit link is in that email. You know, it's a link and then a PDF pops up. If you're on your phone, it says you can download the PDF. Inside that starter kit PDF is all of the resources you're gonna need for the challenge. The goal sheet is in there, the calendar, because some people like to print it out. It's really cute. I should have printed it out. Print it out, you can post it somewhere. So yeah, so that's all in there. That's in that registration email. Literally, you can just type in Budgetnista registration or Live Richer home buying registration and see if you have that email in spam. If not, you can go to budgetnistatech.com and fill out, like, you know, it's like a little form, and our tech support will help you. And so a lot of you guys are asking credit questions. Here's the thing. We don't go super deep into credit for this challenge, right, Nativa?
Yeah, I mean, you have a whole credit challenge.
I was gonna say, literally, we have a whole separate Live Richer Challenge credit edition. It's totally free. So you can go through this challenge, and if at any moment you're like, you know what, I really need to fix my credit, you can actually stop this challenge and then go sign up for the credit edition, you know? And so you're able to do that. So it's if you go to LRC credit, so Live Richer Challenge, LRCcredit.com, that's the credit challenge. Do not take them at the same time, because each challenge, the way it works is that it automatically every single morning sends you an email for the day's task for 3 weeks. So I'm getting home buying emails, credit emails. We have a savings challenge. You don't want to get 3 or 4 emails every single day for 3 weeks. You're never going to be able to catch up. So do one challenge at a time. You can always stop, hammer time, you can stop, and then start back up again. Ooh, we're like freaking absolutely.
And one of the things that we do inside of the home buying challenge is that we link you to the other challenges. So as I mentioned before, you're going to have a framework, which is going to kind of act as your home buying action plan. So you're going to know, okay, I need to get my credit up. Okay, I probably need to grow my savings to this amount. Okay, I need to get my budget together before I can even think about getting my savings and my credit together. And so you're going to know which one you're going to need to work on first in order to crush your home ownership goals. And so, I mean, if you want to stop, you can stop, or you can kind of get your, finish the whole challenge, get your action plan together, and then go to that other challenge. The thing is, the resources are there. LRC Fund is the one on budget. Well, it kind of covers everything, but it's a great one on budgeting. LRC is
LRC Savings is the LRC Save. It's all the same. We have LRC Credit. We've got LRC Net Worth. So and so it just keeps, so there's all these amazing, and they're all free, and once we go past the live version of them, they're automated. And so that's what's so awesome about it. So let's talk about some grants. Are there grants available for down payment? I see people are asking about the down payment assistance.
Yes, and some have been released right now. Most of them are, I say, between like February and I know usually like, but at the end of the third quarter, that money is gone for some of you. So I would start researching now, and they'll even announce when money is coming, when it's going to come. You should just like mark your calendar and know when to call back every time. And on a federal level, state level, county level, and then think about, if you live in a different municipality, like people get money. You just have to be prepared, because the money doesn't last long, and it usually goes to an organization, a nonprofit that does a home buying class. So you may have to sit through that and get certified. It'll go through a lender. So the ones that get the most funds are community lenders. So keep that in mind. But Bank of America and Wells Fargo has gotten some as well, but it's mainly the community lenders that just really get most of the funds. So that's why I mainly work with a lot of community lenders, because they put more of my people in homes.
So, okay. So I know you guys there's so many questions. Here's the thing. Obviously, there's literally hundreds. So I see some of y'all with a little bit of sass. I'm again, not question. I'm like, ma'am. This nigga, we're literally not going to get to all hundreds of questions. It's just not going to happen. But I wanted to bring the Nativa on to answer some basic questions, give you kind of a rundown of how the challenge works. Because here's the thing. A lot of the questions that you're asking are answered inside the challenge. Like, that's the point, And here's what I've learned as a teacher. I was a school teacher for over 10 years, is that when the student is required to do work to get the knowledge, it sticks with them, right? So it's super easy to be like, tell me everything.
Yep.
You know, and then, but then, you know, and then you're less likely to do the work. But if every day you're doing the task and doing your homework and downloading things and filling out your worksheets and all of that stuff, you know, then you're really ready to take on the responsibility of the next level of home ownership, you know? So don't be angry if we don't get to all your questions, because many of them are answered in the challenge. And then many of them are, you know, you can always go to the Facebook group and ask additional questions, because we've got realtors and nativists in the Facebook group, but there's a ton of experts in the Facebook group as well. All right, let's see. I'm just going to see if there's any general things. Oh, this is a good question. Monique asks, is there a debt to income limit for a second home?
The debt to income ratio is a debt to income ratio. So if you're buying a second home, they're going to include the mortgage payment in the other home. Now, one of the loopholes that we actually were able to benefit from is that we were moving out of state over a certain mileage. Okay. So it's usually, you know, if you live across, like there's so many different requirements, but it's usually if you're moving out of state a certain amount of miles, then they'll say, okay, well, we won't count all of that mortgage payment in there. If you rent it out for 2 years, and you have proof of that payment and you've like been living somewhere else. Some people do that. They live with family, they rent out for 2 years and they're able to take a percentage of your rent payments, and that brings down your debt to income ratio. But if you don't have any of that, you're just like moving up and you're not selling, then they will include your current mortgage payments into your debt to income ratio. So that is, I mean, it can, depending on your income and your other debts, minimize how much your other home you'll get approved for. So just keep that in mind. You're going to need a spreadsheet where you can kind of work out the numbers yourself in a challenge. So this makes sure you follow along each step, tweak around with that spreadsheet. There are some loan officers. So when we get to that particular day, that day of the challenge, ask the question, post it. I'm not a loan officer. Like I said, I had to learn some underwriting guidelines to get my people into homes, but there are some conditions that come out all the time, or some special conditions that specific lenders will do only. So lenders are their own entity. The loan programs are guidelines in order for them to package the loan up and sell it. Okay, so it's insured, so they're able to package it up and sell it. But some lenders will keep a portion of loans, and those are the, I mean, you're going to have some strong savings, some strong credit scores. So I would say keep building, and then you may be able to get into one of those. They call them non-qualifying loans, and have some more options. Some of my clients have been able to do that.
And let's talk about, so let's talk about an unpopular truth that you may not be ready to buy a home, right, Nativa?
Absolutely. I was live today in my community, and I was telling them it took me 10 years to get into this house. That doesn't mean I didn't buy.
Yep.
It doesn't mean I didn't buy. When when the recession hit, it caused us to be $598,000 in debt. We had to file bankruptcy and everything. Yes. So we had to give up some investment property. We had to give up some our own personal property. And so when we were trying to figure out our next move, something just told me, check and see what the prices are out there today. The recession was like a golden moment for me. That was my come up. We got our house for $20,000, a HUD home. Market for 35. And I was like, oh, I don't have 35. Let me just see if they'll take 20, because market time is important, guys. It's been on the market for a while. I threw out 20. They denied me. And I guess whoever was over the loan was like, let's get this off the books. Get it. I was like, whoop. And then, obviously it took us 5 months to save that $20,000. We didn't even have it in the bank. I was like, I don't money. We didn't even have it in the bank, but that just goes to show what you can do when you have a goal that you're working towards, which is why day number one, we focus on what? Goals. And, so
and day number one, we break down kind of like, is home buying for you right now? Now, here's the thing. Is knowledge for you? Always.
Yep.
Always, So you might say, I'm going to buy a home in 5 years. You're in the right place. Take this class, take this. I mean, it's free. It's here, but I just want you to be honest with yourself that not putting yourself in a position that you're getting more home than you can actually afford. Because that's not what we want for you.
Absolutely. That's not dream catching. That's debt catching.
No, for real. And honestly, here's the thing. I lost my home after when the recession hit, even though I thought I bought it wisely. If I really think about it, I mean, I didn't realize I probably paid too much for it. I didn't really understand looking at comps in the area, like other homes that were,
so at that time anyway. So
what'd you say?
They were horrible at that time anyway. Those comps were all full of pumped up.
Exactly. And so, you know, but knowing what I know now, to me, there is something to be said for low debt. Like, so home, you know, for the most part, when you buy a home, you're going to have debt, right? But debt in other areas of your life, really managing that and bringing that as low as possible, really focusing on savings. It doesn't have to be saved in a savings account. You might have some semi-liquid assets like a CD or something like that. But when tough times are coming, minimizing debt and increasing access to cash are critical.
Mm-hmm.
So we're sharing that because I don't want you to put yourself in a position where I talked about this like a little earlier, and I said that so many of us are living our best life budget, right? That means like, oh, I got a good job. Yes, okay, things are going good. I just got a raise. My boo got a job. Everything is going good. The kids don't need braces. Everything is going good. And so your budget is based upon your best life.
Right.
That is very dangerous because as an adult, we all know that best life is not going to happen forever. Right? Eventually, the baby's going to need some braces. This one's going to want to go to college. You might get laid off. You might, like right now, there's a government shutdown if you're watching this live. You know, there's so many things that can happen. And I don't want you should know, everyone should know, and my friend, I love this term. He said, everyone should know their noodle budget. And I was like, what's a noodle budget? He was like, your noodle budget is if you had to eat ramen noodles.
Yep.
If you had to eat ramen noodles.
Worst case scenario budget. Yes.
That is that word. I call it the baseline budget, but I love that. What's your noodle budget? Now, you don't have to live at your noodle budget, right, but you should be living somewhere between your noodle budget and your best life budget. You shouldn't be living at either extreme, right? So you should find yourself somewhere between best life budget and noodle budget. So if you're somewhere around here and some rough times happen, it's okay because you have a little space. But when you live at your best life, everything is going right budget, and one thing happens, it can really throw your whole life, financial life, into turmoil. So I think it's a bad habit that we have, and I have done that. That's why I'm sharing that I've lived at my best life budget, and I don't do that anymore. I live somewhere in between noodle budget and best life budget, so I have some space for things to happen because I'm an adult, you know?
And buy a home with that mindset as well.
Yeah,
like a $20,000 house. I didn't plan to stay in this for 6 years, but it prepped us to be able to make that huge down payment on this house. So don't be afraid to buy your right now house. It's gonna rock with you. If it allows you to save, it allows you to live a better lifestyle, it allows you to prepare to get that larger note because now you got this asset building equity. Now you got some savings that you're able to put up. That is like golden. I'll never give up my savings again.
For real. Like, so someone said,
ever.
Cynthia said, can the Timothy be my virtual realtor? Laugh out loud, kidding, kind of like. She is the what? The best, the bomb, amazing. Okay. This is what happens when you invest in girls, right?
Yes.
Look what we can change the world. Now, so I think I'm not going to keep this tip longer. I mean, I hope you guys got your life. You're going to get your life. I know you have a ton more questions, but literally your questions are answered by the challenge. I just wanted to get you excited. Tomorrow it starts. First thing in the morning, you'll get your email. If for whatever reason you don't see it, you know, it's 22 days. So basically 3 weeks in 1 day. If you don't see it, you can go to Budgetnista Tech, like technology, budgetnistatech.com. That's not an email, that's a website. Budgetnistatech.com. Fill out the form, and our tech person will get back to you. Like, I didn't get my email, but always check your spam. Use your search bar, typing in Budgetnista or Live Richer Challenge Homebuying, and to see maybe sometimes it's hidden in a folder, sometimes it's in spam, so you can find it there. So definitely do that search first because oftentimes you know it's there. But thank you so much. Are you gonna be with us? Because you know every week during the challenge, so 3 times. Like basically, if you're doing it live, it's on Sunday. But if you're doing the recording, it's just the 7th day of every week. We go live just to do a Q&A for that week. Are you gonna join us for that Q&A? You see how I asked her on the spot, right?
Absolutely, I will join you.
Yes. Yeah, so we're gonna get into it because every week I know it's a lot happening. You're like, wow, this week was intense and it was awesome. And so you have questions, and I want to make sure that you're going to get your answers answered. So there's some questions you're asking now that the challenge might answer week 1, and it might not. So you'll get every week for 3 weeks. You'll get a chance to if you're watching live, to get some live answers from the tipper. And if you're not watching live, you can still get answers because you can watch the recording. Okay. Oh, she said, I'm ready.
All
Everybody's
right.
like super excited. Yes, right? I'm telling you, you ripple out. This is what I'll end with, and I'll let Natiba share what you'd like to share. That it is the reason why we do this. The reason why we do this work is because it is critical that you do what we're doing. We are taking our knowledge and we're using it to change those around us. And imagine if you took what we taught you and used that to change your circle around you, and those people that you taught change your circle. You can ripple out and literally change this world. You know, you don't have to go to another country. You don't have to extend past even just your family, you know. But when you ripple outward, it really helps to change everyone, and that's why we do what we do. Oh, and lastly, and I'm so, you know, it's been such a crazy time of year, but so the challenge, we have a physical book, and I should have bought it. I don't know where it is, but every challenge has a physical book, and it's available on Amazon. But you'll see the link in every single task, like what it'll say, because some people like me, I want the workbook version where I can like fill things in. You don't have to get it because the challenge is, you know, this free course, but some people like the physical book. So you can always head to Amazon, type in the Budgetnista, and you'll see all the challenge books there, but you'll see it's yellow. You'll see the Literature Challenge Home Buying Edition right there on Amazon. And you can use it to work along with you while you're doing the challenge and carry it with you, because some people like, you know, having things to write in. Anything you want to end with, Natiba?
I would just say to take it slow. One of the things that I heard with the credit challenge was, you know, oh, there's so much, but just know that this is just giving you the tools and the knowledge, but just, you know, take your time through each one, follow the days, take it through each one, and go back and revisit. That's why, you know, you get the emails, have a little folder in your email address where you can store each day's email into, so you can go back and revisit it as you start working your home buying plan of action. And the book, one of the things you, if you guys have never had the book, it actually has a full challenge information in there. So it has what you're going to get in email, in the book, and spaces to actually write out your information, links to everything. So it's a really good companion if, you know, other than, you know, the folder and emails.
Exactly. Because some people, you know, like for me, it depends. Like, you know, I like to have the physical you know, version. And then because the challenge is digital. So you might want to be at your desk at work and you're like, I can't pull it up on my computer. Let me fill it out. And just know we have something called the Literature Foundation, and a percentage of everything that you do with the Budgetnista goes right back to you. The purpose of the foundation is to give that money right back to dream catchers. So every time you buy a shirt, every time you get a book, every time you sign up for, every time we suggest a company, I have typically worked out with a company to give us a little something every time we suggest them, because we believe in them. They might give us $5 per person that signs up. We set aside a percentage of that money. Like me as Tiffany, I set aside 10% of my income anyway. Right? But for the businesses, we set aside a percentage of that income, and it goes into the Live Richer Foundation, and it goes right back to dream catchers. Our first thing that we're doing is we're doing daycare center scholarships, because I know so many women, if they want the opportunity to be able to make money for their family, and they can't because daycare is so expensive. So I know people personally that struggle with this, you know? And so I said, well, let's start with that we can have a scholarship program to help moms that want to get back on their feet and go back to work and provide for their families. And maybe we could pay for a year of daycare for your child to help you out. So just know that everything that you do, anytime you click a link, anytime you sign up for a challenge, anytime you buy a shirt from shoplivericher.com, anytime you buy the book, anytime you do anything that's associated with the Budgetnista, you are in turn putting that right back into the community and right back into your own pockets. So yeah, it's just like, I want us to be like an example of like what it looks like to truly live richer, you know, that everyone can win. I just really believe like everyone can win, that you can serve and give give right back to the community that is pouring into you. And so, yep, shoplivericher.com. Our goal is honestly to give away $1 million, over $1 million in the next year. And so we are like, literally, I have 3 companies that we put aside money every single month for that desire, because I don't know if you guys remember. I remember in the tip there was a huge storm in Texas, like and so so many dream catchers struggled, and I remember the thing that motivated me was that that we have dream catcher chapters nationwide. You can go to dreamcatcherchapters.com, dreamcatcherchapters.com. And so the Texas chapters reached out and said, there are so many dream catchers in our chapters that are struggling, and we don't know what to do. So I said, make a list of everyone, because these are chapters that meet physically. So they know these women. Make a list of everyone and what they need. They put it in a spreadsheet for me. I went live in the Facebook group and said, our sisters in Texas need our help. And I gave the spreadsheet, I shared it, and I said, please put your name and your phone number next to the sister, next to the dream catcher in Texas that you'd like to help and how. Whether it was pads, whether it was clothes for the baby, whatever it is. And when I tell you, we had so many people wanting to give, we didn't have enough people to help, you know? And so like a light bulb came on, and I said, you know, you guys are just as giving, just as altruistic, just as philanthropic. Philanthropic. No, philanthropic. I know words, right? Just as philanthropic as I am. And so like a light bulb went on and said, what if I could create something specific, a space where you could do that? And so just look forward to soon we'll have a way that you can even just donate directly to the Live Richer Foundation, and knowing that it's going right back into the community. So yeah, it's just such an amazing group to be a part of. And I'm just blessed to that you guys allow me, Nativa, and all the folks who are working on your behalf, the Unicorn Squad, that's the team, just allow us the opportunity to be of service to you. All right, Nativa, you good?
I am good. I'm excited.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow inside the inbox.